Are you a...
I can be. I'm assertive. I hold my own. But I'm also very compassionate.
Neighbors are like an itch on your butt, which you later find out is hemorrhoids, and like bad neighbors, they're here to stay. I lived with my mom until I was 26. I moved out and instantly had a bad neighbor. Tried to work things out until the next day, I still had a bad neighbor. This video is covering a couple different incidents of bad neighboring. Our story starts in 1999 when bad neighbor Lori Christensen began harassing her neighbors over a spat between their daughters.
Cordial turned to combative one day over nail polish between their young daughters.
So I just went over to Lori's and I said this was what had gone on, and immediately she pretty much went off on me.
She was screaming at you.
She was screaming at me.
Had she ever screamed at you before?
No, she had not. And I turned around and started to walk away.
But we're about to learn walking away from the wrath of Lori Christensen wouldn't be that simple.
Lori began a harassment campaign against her neighbor. The neighbor, who I will not name, is a recovering alcoholic, and Lori used that to her advantage by reenacting drunk driving with an RC car in front of the woman's family. She also made derogatory signs about drinking and driving, using Mothers Against Drunk Driving as a reason for the sign.
It got so bad the started videotaping the bizarre signs she'll put on her garage, like this one saying,
"Get a life, you stalking loser freak. The guilty talk the loudest."
Or, "I saw mommy kissing a breathalyzer."
I saw mommy kissing a breathalyzer.
Yes, that was New Year's Eve, and all the Met Council buses, that was the logo that year. I have pictures of every Metropolitan Council bus driving down the street that said, "I saw mama kissing a breathalyzer." I'm a MAD supporter.
I find it hard to believe that advertising MAD in such a manner really is going to be very effective.
From 1999 to 2005, the police were called to this neighborhood over 100 times according to ABC's 2020. The drama continued all the way until 2012 when she was arrested for violating a harassment restraining order in 2011, and then in 2012 for aggravated stalking and again violating the restraining order. The neighbor from hell pleaded guilty in 2013 and was sentenced to 5 years probation, 90 days in jail, and was ordered to stay at least a mile away from these neighbors. Lori eventually moved to a neighboring town and got right to work harassing some other neighbors in her new community.
Christensen's former next-door neighbors say she started videotaping them as soon as they moved to her block on East Street in White Bear Lake Township in 2016. And their daughter stopped playing outside because she was afraid of being filmed. The family says Christensen also shouted profanities at them about their dogs, got into a dispute with them over a fence they put up, and had the head of a female mannequin on a stake on her deck, which she would turn so it faced the family's home.
Oh my God.
The family moved and put the house on the market. Prosecutors say Christensen harassed realtors and potential buyers who came to look at the property. She took photos and videotape of them, yelled disparaging remarks about the people who lived there, once saying they were smoking meth, and put up no trespassing signs facing the home for sale.
As a result of harassing her new neighbors and prospective homebuyers, Lori was arrested on 2 counts of felony harassment. This was the last update I could find on Lori Christensen, but let me know in the comments if there's something that I missed. The next story I have for you takes place in Schenectady, New York, and this one is a little more lighthearted. This battle is between the Blue House and the Yellow House. It's a fight for what's just, but more importantly, it's a struggle for dominance of the neighborhood in Schenectady, New York.
I don't know what sparked it or what happened, but it's now escalated to tarps and bad neighbor signs.
The battle between neighbors on Van Ryn Avenue near Brown School has turned into a community eyesore, including this man-made fence.
And the sign out front proclaiming worst neighbor ever. This neighborhood is fed up with the fight going on between these 2 homes.
But you don't think it's very nice to put up that sign?
I don't think so. I would be very offended if somebody did that to me. The sign that says that a neighbor, the worst neighbor in the world lives there. It's funny, but it's not funny.
Are you taking sides?
No.
The fight escalated to the point of the Yellow House building a Great Blue Wall. The Blue House and the Yellow House have been at war for 10 years according to neighbors, but the wall was the biggest aggression thus far. One day, the Blue House threw peanuts into the Yellow House's yard, attracting squirrels. This brought the feud to new heights, leading to a sign from the Yellow House reading, "No peanuts, severe allergy."
The other neighbor responded by putting up the worst neighbor ever sign. And then came the wall of tarps and those slow down soldiers. The Yellow House neighbor claims police have been called here more than 70 times due to the back and forth, which he says included one physical scuffle.
Maybe they should have put up a higher fence. I don't know.
One neighbor upset by all this pulled over but was afraid to show her face.
It's unacceptable and it needs to stop.
Do you want the city to try to do something about this?
It would be nice if they can. Sure. That's what we pay taxes for.
We showed photos of the spectacle to the mayor at a public event today.
I'll look into it and get back to you this afternoon.
And he got us in touch with the city building inspector.
When I got a email from WRGB, then I responded immediately.
The inspector tells me the city had already responded to these homes back in 2019 over a complaint about the Blue House putting up bird feeders and doing their business on the Yellow House's roof.
Unfortunately, these are things we deal with in the building department.
It's already pretty bad when you've got all the other neighbors complaining about what you're doing.
Yeah, we care about the neighbors here and hopefully want to resolve this in a timely manner.
And a timely manner it was. Shortly after this story by CBS 6, things in the neighborhood improved. The wall was taken down, the bad neighbor sign was turned away from the road, and peace was restored to the neighborhood.
CBS 6 investigates getting results. Wednesday, we brought you the story of a feud between neighbors in Schenectady. That included a fight over this makeshift fence that was towering between the homes. Well, after CBS 6 alerted the city to neighborhood complaints and the codes department got involved, the neighbor who built the tarp wall agreed to take it down. And today, as promised, that tarp wall is gone, as you can see here. We also noticed that the worst neighbor ever sign that had an arrow pointing straight at the Yellow House was turned away from the street today. The building inspector says the city will investigate both homes involved in these complaints and will work to help that neighbor build a fence that is code compliant, hopefully mending fences and calming this feud.
I do believe things have calmed down. I haven't seen any signs put up or aggression of any sort. I believe everything is calm.
Next, I'm gonna bring you over to Canley Heights in Australia. It's safe to say that neighbor beefs in Australia are lit. It's also safe to say that reporting in Australia is top notch because these neighbor videos are freaking bonkers.
So what do they say? High fences make good neighbours?
Oh yeah, they sure do. But I just wish this was higher.
You've called him a You've called him a You called his mother a Why?
Oh, is she a rock melon, is she?
A rock melon?
On one side of the fence is Eamon and his mother.
Eamon, what do you think of your neighbour?
I think my neighbour's a vile, disgusting, rude creature.
On the other side of the fence is Shadia.
You don't believe in peace?
And if you haven't guessed it already, they don't like each other very
Come on, man, aren't Muslims supposed to be the religion of peace?
much.
It doesn't seem like you to be hiding behind a wall.
The cops know me now. Department Housing knows me, and we'll just see what happens. Now you guys know me.
Are you a little bit embarrassed, perhaps?
What am I embarrassed of, all right?
I mean, you're embarrassed enough to talk from inside your house and not show your face.
The conflict of Canley Heights has been raging for 3 years, and if you live in this street, there's only one solution.
But neighbours' blaring music does little to drown out the fights.
At first, she put up a sign saying alert at the front of her house. I was
What?
in shock, because that's not what I am.
Bro, come
Eamon
on.
prays for peace.
I called the
I want to know what that is that they blurred out.
cops. They got here about an hour later. They made her take it down.
But after so many false allegations, he's had enough.
What's it like living here next to this farm?
Oh, it's a nightmare.
Believe it or not, he and his next-door neighbour got along 3 years ago.
What happened?
So what happened was my mum parked in front of her house on the road.
How it
and
always
she didn't
happens.
Like that, so she came at her, started shouting at her.
Now he says it's gone too far. Religious sensitivity so inflammatory we can't even show it on TV.
And you'll see another sign at the bottom there saying, yeah, means in Arabic.
Sandbags line the fence
God
as
damn.
the war rages, and the wall between them keeps
They got some pirate flags. This is some crazy shit.
getting higher.
Fort Canley Heights.
Fort Canley Heights, yeah, that's right.
Eamon says he's just trying to protect his mother from a next-door neighbour
Amen. Was he a Targaryen?
who has formed.
What
This is
the?
Shadia in the blue headscarf, picking up the pieces after the great bank brawl of Bankstown.
What?
The All In last January had Sydney talking.
He's a
The quietest you've
problem.
ever been.
I'm always quiet.
The 46-year-old didn't care about the cameras back then, but clearly she does now.
Yep.
Lucky enough she charged you with false allegations.
Oh, why don't you call the cops? We'd be happy to see what they've got to say.
The police know this address well.
What's up?
You've accused him of being a Have you tried to talk it out?
Nah, she's not a reasonable person to talk to, you know. She'll just swear at you, tell you to off.
It's gone a bit too far, hasn't it? Surely we can find some peace here.
Not here, apparently.
Australia's the best because their news reporters still do what our old news reporters used to do. They like go out and they get the scoop, they get the interview, like they do the whole investigation. I love Australian news.
Amen and his mother are hoping the Department of Housing will intervene, and something tells us it won't end quietly.
I'm not scared of nobody.
I'm hoping she either gets evicted or they give my mum a transfer, you know. We've put up with her stuff for so long and we've just had enough of it, you know.
I appreciate anyone who watched. For those that aren't subscribed, my name is Mark Weed. I make videos about things that I find funny and interesting. I also have a daily short series called Karen Watch, where we look at a new Karen every day. I'm a new YouTuber and I started making consistent videos last year, and I plan to upload every single day if possible. Thanks and have a good day.